In the news tonight, digital tools being introduced into Barbadian classrooms. A plan to ease traffic flow at the Grantley Adams International Airport. And in sports, officials say all is set for Monday's final of the Prime Minister's Cup.
The headline news is brought to you by National Transformation Initiative, shaping the Barbadian.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Lisa Broom. Thank you for tuning in. In our top story tonight, as Barbados' education system continues to be transformed, a major step was taken today to introduce digital tools into the classrooms. This was done through government's official unveiling of Book Fusion, a digital learning platform set to revolutionize how students across Barbados learn and better equip them to compete in a digital world. Deandra Roberts was there.
Student Joshua Osborne setting the tone with a song for what officials called a new era in learning. Chief Education Officer Dr. Ramona Archer-Bradshaw describes Book Fusion as more than technology.
But this is more than devices. For us, this is a representation of our shift in mindset. It is a commitment to equity in education, and it shows the fulfillment when it comes to the education transformation agenda in preparing our students for an education system that is firm, one that we say is fair, inclusive, relevant, and modern.
The Inter-American Development Bank is supporting the program. Francisco De Simone, the IDB Chief of Operations, says 3,000 plus students are already benefiting.
As part of the first phase of the Digital Learning Resource Platform, 3,041 students received laptops, along with access to more than 100 ebooks. Together, we have been planning the expansion of the program to reach more students and educators in order to enhance the platform's features and tools, including interactive content and opportunities for users to upload their own content on the platform.
Minister of Educational Transformation Chad Blackman calls the launch historic, since the interactive learning tools can be accessed at any time.
At a time when digital learning is becoming the global norm, this platform provides immediate access to a curated list of digital textbooks, as you've heard, supplementary reading materials, interactive learning resources, sign language integration, and text-to-speech tools. Study aids, such as highlighting, note-taking, and bookmarking. This is the reality of modern education.
For students, it means lighter bags. For teachers, new classroom tools. And for the education system, a major leap into the future. Deandra Roberts, CBC News.
Officials from the Barbados Licensing Authority say they're pleased with the number of people who are coming to get their vehicles checked to ensure they're compliant with the tint regulations. Our news team visited the Oystons car park, one of the two stations where testing is being done, and spoke to officials there.
At the Oystons car park earlier today, several motorists were seen getting their vehicles tested, just days before the new tint regulations come into effect. Deandra Adams, attached to the tint division at the Barbados Licensing Authority, says things are picking up.
As the deadline is approaching, a lot of people is rushing, Bajans. As things come near, people seems to panic, you understand? And tint has picked up a lot since it has been publicized.
Tint tester representative Hakeem Sober says some people are hesitant to get their vehicle tested, but he says it's the safest way to go.
Some people tend to give me a haste with it, They're going to give you a little tug, but overall I believe that if you tend to compromise, then things should work out. It doesn't make any sense fighting it or giving it a hard time, because then at the end of the day, it's going to be beneficial for everyone.
Tinting businesses are already seeing an increase in their workload, with calls and visits increasing. We caught up with Dave Belgrave of Abstract Tinting Studio, busy at work.
From the rush before, I bring in extra material, this sauce, and yeah, it's starting to pick back up. When it was on hold or give extra time, it slowed down a bit, but now it's starting to pick back up.
He says there's one recurring question that customers and potential customers ask when they either call or visit.
More questions is how dark they can get it. Like most questions. The darkest basically is 20% in the back, 25 up front, and 70 front glass. So that's regulation. The clock is ticking, and the time will soon be here when you will be charged if you are not in compliance with the new tint regulations from Monday, December 1st, 2025. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Landowners have started receiving abatement notices to clear their properties within 3 weeks. And if they fail to comply, government will step in, carry out the cleaning, and pass the costs on to the landowners, who will also be required to pay a penalty for non-compliance. The move forms part of government's operational plan to address overgrown vegetation on housing lots, which came into effect on November 1st. Project lead for the program, Ronald Chapman, says that by month end, landowners who have received abatement notices and still refuse to clean their lots will start receiving administrative penalty notices. He was speaking at the launch of the National Parish Home Garden Competition.
Currently, yes, we have been having quite a few challenges because there was some problems with the old system, and we have a new system now that we are currently testing, and it should be up and running in full order quite soon.
Well, we apologize for that incorrect extract. Mr. Chapman says while there are some internal teething issues that are being addressed, the cleaning of overgrown lots has already begun, and he's urging Barbadians not to wait for notice before taking action to clean their properties.
Which means persons will be seeing a charge, $300 charge for cleaning their lots. And if after they receive that $300 charge and they do not proceed to clean their lots, Ministry of Environment will step in, clean the lot, and they will get a bill. No, not a charge, a bill for for the cleaning of their lots conducted by Ministry of Environment. I mentioned Ministry of Housing and Lands. They are helping us on the back end in terms of the GIS program and the other platforms that allows us to manage the program. If you are overseas and you're hearing this, clean the lot. You know you haven't cleaned your lot for the longest time? Clean the lot. There are Barbadians out there who will tell you that they have been cleaning lots next door to them now from time immemorial. I think Tora is one of those persons. But the fact of the matter is that the Ministry of Environment, along with the Ministry of Health, has brought this initiative to address problems exactly like that, where Barbadians are being taken advantage of by other inconsiderate Barbadians. You're living next to a lot, you bought a lot, you haven't looked back at it in 5 years. So what do you expect? The clementary tree big, 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 the gravitarbin tree is big, the cowitch, and then there's somebody else living next to it. It may be a single female who may fear for her safety. You know, she may not have the disposable income to go and clean that lot, but this program addresses all of those issues.
As Vincentians go to the polls tomorrow, political analyst Peter Wickham says the general elections will be historic regardless of the outcome. This, he says, is due to Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves' lengthy tenure in office.
If Dr. Ralph Gonsalves is able to retain office, and he will become the longest serving Prime Minister continuously for the Caribbean, with 6 terms already at 5, he's in record territory. If Dr. Goodwin Friday is able to unseat him, then you have a situation where he would have unseated the longest serving Prime Minister in the Caribbean. So it will be historic. The lay of the land on the ground is an interesting one. There are 15 seats in the Parliament. The current majority that Dr. Gonsalves holds is 2. This is up from the one he held in the previous election. But he has a large number of seats, about 5 or 6 seats, which are very, very marginal. And I think that's really going to be the focus in the election tomorrow. How can those marginal seats be managed, and who will win them ultimately? So it's on a knife's edge, I would say. It's a close election. It has the potential to go either way. We will watch with great interest tomorrow as the votes are counted.
The St. Vincent Electoral Office says there has been a notable increase in registered voters ahead of the polls. The final voters list shows 101,744 registered electors, an increase of 3,625 compared to the 2020 election cycle. After weeks of public complaints and long delays, the Barbados Licensing Authority has announced that a new digital system is now being installed and is expected to be operational soon. The authority says the persistent downtime of the old platform stemmed from major technical issues that could no longer be repaired. Motorists have been voicing their concerns on social media, reporting cancelled bookings and hours-long waits at Licensing Authority locations. But Deputy Chief at the Licensing Authority, Lynette Williams, says a resolution is coming.
Currently, yes, we have been having quite a few challenges because there was some problems with the old system, and we have a new system now that we are currently testing, and it should be up and running in full order quite soon.
Abuse of women continues to be a serious problem in both the physical and digital space. And Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey is urging Barbadians to come together and take a stand against the online bullying of women. He was among officials attending last night's launch of this year's Red Shoe Project at the Barbados Museum, held as part of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Rachel Agard tells us more.
Women's voices have been silenced for generations, and regrettably, that still continues today. Officials say gender-based violence, especially in online spaces, remains a long-standing and deeply troubling issue. And the Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs, Kirk Humphrey, is once again speaking out against the bullying of women and girls online.
We deemed it important to be able to say women and girls in particular should not be bullied on the internet. And persons took that to mean, deliberately I think, that we were trying to limit people's freedom to speak. You're free to speak. You're just not free to infringe on the rights of other people. And a country must subject itself to discipline and order. And if we are serious about it, I hope those of us who are right thinking and recognize what it is that we were trying to do say that a country that is serious about protecting its women and its children, as we must. I don't know how we could expect to raise a society of strong men and strong women and push down the women when the women raise the women raise the men.
Minister Humphrey says that while legislation can help, real progress requires a shift in culture. He adds that we all share a responsibility to support the women who turn to us for help.
When a woman complains to you as a friend that she is being violated in ways that no woman should be violated, we have a responsibility to that woman. When you come before an institution responsible for protecting women, whether that is an agency under my ministry or whether that is the Barbados Police Service, because many women say when they go to the police service, they're not treated as if it's a serious issue. We have a responsibility to those women.
Deputy Representative and Acting Head of Office for the United Nations Multi-Country Office in the Caribbean, Isiwa Ayahen, says the advent of the Internet, artificial intelligence, and modern technology has opened new doors for women in the digital economy. But she notes that these advancements also bring risks, including greater exposure to abuse in the virtual space.
But I think once we're able to join together, put our efforts together to prevent gender-based violence in all spaces, including online, that I think at some point we'll make incremental steps to eventually eradicating the scourge that is violence against women and girls.
Those in attendance were also treated to a play penned by producer Michelle Hinkson Cox and painted some red shoes to mark the occasion. Each pair of shoes represents a woman or girl who has survived an attack. 16 days of activism against gender-based violence runs from November 25th to December 4th. This year's focus is on the digital space under the theme Break Barriers, Build Safe Spaces. Rachel Agard, CBC News.
A plan to ease traffic flow at the Grantley Adams International Airport will take effect tomorrow. Chief Executive Officer Hadley Bourne, speaking alongside Director of Engineering Kieran Walks and Director of Operations Patrick Voyer, outlined the details of the initiative to CBC News today. Mr. Bourne said the plan has been in development for some time and is designed to improve both the flow and safety of vehicles at the airport.
We're here to commission a roadway that we've spoken about for many years in terms of alleviating some of the traffic congestion in front of the terminal by allowing staff and taxi drivers to use the old gas station. Most of you who are familiar with the airport, many years ago there was an exit from the gas station to Highway 7, and what we would have done was instituted a small one-way causeway from the staff parking area to that old exit to allow persons to exit to Highway 7 to the east and ease that congestion that usually traverses in front of the terminal heading west.
Director of Operations Patrick Voyer added the plans were developed based on inputs from stakeholders and industry officials.
The plans that we are putting in place tomorrow and the 20th are just a continuity of things that we have developed over the year. So it's about staffing, making sure that everyone is staffed. So not only Gaia Inc., but all key stakeholders. Equipment, but equipment is ready. We do have developed contingency plans as well to make sure that in case we have a failure in the operation, that we have continuity in the operation. So we have developed a set of contingency plans. This is something that we had before, but now it is aligned within all stakeholders. So this will allow a continuity of the operation, as I mentioned.
Barbadians are being urged to create beautiful, innovative home gardens. The call comes as the Ministry of National Beautification, Green and Blue Economy launches its parish home beautification competition, which runs from November 25th to December 15th. Winners in each parish will receive $1,500 for having the most beautiful garden. Second place will earn $1,000 and third place $750 within each parish. Tree planting coordinator with responsibility for competitions, Delvin Phillips, says the 11 parish winners will then advance to compete for the grand prizes.
First place, $4,000. Second place, $3,000. And third place, $2,000. But the question is, how does one enter or get information on the competition? That's very easy. You will WhatsApp 234-3252, 234-3252. There will be an automated message that will ask you to give your name, address, pin location of where you are, and at a minimum or a maximum in this case of 3 photos of your garden.
Mr. Phillips says Barbadians are encouraged to get involved, especially since home gardens provide significant environmental benefits.
Supporting the increase in biodiversity preservation as well as plant diversity. So one has to see the benefits, and these are just a few of the benefits that gardening does. So we're asking Barbadians, come to join the competition.
Barbados rolled out an elegant welcome for some of its most loyal visitors at Illawarra Court on Friday night, many celebrating decades of returning to the island. Students from the Lawrence T. Gay Memorial School set the tone with a warm performance, something the Minister of Tourism, Ian Gooding-Edgell, says reflects the spirit that keeps visitors coming back, as we hear from Deanza Roberts.
The minister says Barbados has been doing right by those coming to the shores since they have been returning year after year. He welcomed the guests and said their loyalty reflects not only the island's attractions, but the warmth and friendliness of its people.
Barbados continues to be a destination that focuses on quality and a destination that has much to offer. And within the Ministry of Tourism and International Transport, we are actively pursuing new policies to ensure that Barbados and the Barbados brand remains very powerful in the marketplace.
This year's honorees range from long-time families to visitors who first came as children and now return as adults. Each received a commemorative painting as a symbol of their connection to Barbados.
As you continue your journey with us, I want all of you to continue to be the true ambassadors you are, to encourage those who've not been to Barbados to come to Barbados. Your friends, your relatives, and others who may not know about Barbados, I'm sure that you will continue to encourage them.
The minister also reaffirmed that government is strengthening the island's tourism product, making sure that quality keeps pace with visitors' loyalty. Deanza Roberts, CBC News.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power Inn. Pause is power. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Sports time now. Damien Best is in the chair with all the details. Good evening, Damien.
Yeah, good evening to Lisa. Good evening to our viewers and listeners. Well, the stage is set for a blockbuster showdown in the grand final of the Prime Minister's Cup football competition on Monday. CBC's Anmar Goodrich Boys was at Kensington Oval this morning for the media conference ahead of the finale.
A bumper crowd is expected at Kensington Oval on Monday night for the highly anticipated final of the Prime Minister's Cup. Weymouth Wales and Kickstart Rush will go head-to-head as new champions will be crowned in a match televised live on CBC TV 8 and Flow Sports. Speaking during a pre-match media conference, Minister of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment Charles Griffith said this year the semi-professional tournament exceeded expectations.
We have cut down on the teams this year, as you would have realized, but quantity equated to quality. We cut down on the quantity, but the quality of the competition was one that I think everybody was pleased with. I would have seen probably the biggest crowd at Gore Hill in relation to that quarterfinal match, probably only matched by the semi-finals at Huddersfield Turning.
Project manager Shane Archer confirmed that 9,000 tickets have already been printed as the interest surrounding the final and third place match has skyrocketed. Archer gave the assurance that the organizing committee is doing everything in its power to ensure that all fans who wish to be in attendance are accommodated.
Some persons are going onto the page and reloading, even coming back with a different name but the same email address. So we were able to track down, like, one person went in and took 60 tickets. So these type of things are not good for the overall public. Like, if you have a group that needs tickets, you can email the team, you can reach out to any of our partners, the BFA, the ministry, whoever, and say, well, hey, we have a group, we have a team or something that needs more additional tickets, but I'm really pleading with the public and persons not to go onto the site and to request more than the allotted 2 tickets, especially when you want 50 or 30 tickets. Like, it's not good for everyone else. It's an offense to resell the tickets, so we hope that persons don't engage in this type of activity. But yeah, we're working with our partners to ensure that each one that wants to go to the finals could come to the finals.
A massive entertainment package will be on the cards for spectators, with the gates set to open at 2 p.m., with Barbados women taking on Trinidad and Tobago women in a CONCACAF W qualifier at 4 p.m., before the third place match featuring a Christchurch derby between Paradise and Wharton, and the Prime Minister's Cup final at 9 p.m., where $100,000 will be on the line. Anmar Goodrich Boys, CBC Sports.
The Barbados Police Cooperative Credit Union Limited has been rebranded the Barbados Protective Services Cooperative Credit Union Limited. The institution will bring together the island's first responders, security officers and protective service professionals under one financial home. Deanza Roberts has that story.
The occasion marked the official launch of the credit union, a financial institution built by and for the men and women who safeguard this country. The rebrand is being done at a time when the credit union is celebrating its 65th anniversary. President of the credit union, Trevor Blackman, said the launch was a milestone for the institution.
Our new name and expanded membership reflects our commitment to providing financial services tailored to the unique needs of protective services personnel. Building a community of like-minded individuals who share a common purpose.
Blackman said the credit union will serve members of organizations including the Barbados Police Service, the Defense Force, the Prison Service, the Government Security Service, Airport and Seaport Security, and Immigration and Customs. Kimar Cumberbatch, president of the Barbados Cooperative and Credit Union League, lauded the 65-year-old institution for decades of good governance. He also commended them for including others in the protective sector.
You did not only say that you're going to continue to serve only the police officers, but you've expanded to include fire and those members in the prison service and the Barbados Defense Force. And that is something that ought to be commended, especially as we begin to navigate these turbulent and uncertain waters.
Vice President of the Barbados Cooperative and Credit Union League and Director of the World Council of Credit Unions, Harry Haynes, delivered the feature address. He spoke about the need for consolidation of credit unions to survive with all the regulatory challenges facing them, noting that there are too many individual credit unions in Barbados.
Mergers is not about smallness. It is not about small credit unions coming together. It is about strategic partnerships. And we need police at the Barbados Protective Service Credit Union to have those strategic partnerships.
The unveiling ceremony and symbolic cake cutting signaled the official beginning of a new chapter for the financial options of members of the island's protective services. Deanza Roberts for the Business Report.
A new company with an app connecting sellers and customers in Barbados is open for business. Its Rider Global and merchant manager Rashad Sargent says the company is more than just a delivery service. It's a modern platform designed to elevate businesses to the next level.
When businesses grow, communities grow, and when businesses succeed, the economy succeeds. And when we support vendors, everyone wins. So the role of the vendors with Rider. Vendors are the backbone of Rider. Restaurants, supermarkets, dessert shops, retail stores, home kitchens, small and medium businesses. Whether you've been operating for decades or you're just getting started, Rider gives you tools to grow faster, reach more customers, and operate more efficiently as well.
He explained how the app works.
When customers place an order, you receive it instantly as a vendor. You can either accept, decline, mark items unavailable, update preparation times. Everything is controlled right inside your new vendor app.
On the international business scene, the British government has announced a tax-raising budget that it hopes will boost economic growth, reduce child poverty and ease cost of living pressures. They include changes to the thresholds at which earners pay different tax levels for further 3 years from 2028. This means that as wages rise, more people will fall into higher tax brackets. Other measures include a mansion tax, changes to the capital gains tax regime, higher gambling taxes, a new levy on electric car use, and a cut to tax-free provisions for private pensions. Measures were also announced to ease the financial pressure on households by freezing rail fares and cutting levies on household energy bills.
Sports Night is brought to you by Power In. Pause is power. And by Dasani. Live first, Dasani after.
Damien is back now with this second half in sports. Over to you, Damien.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lisa. Well, after strong showings in recent T20 and ODI series against New Zealand, West Indies head coach Darren Sammy says his squad is confident ahead of the upcoming Test campaign. The Windies last won a Test series at home against the Black Caps in 2012 and have not won in New Zealand since 1987. Well, despite the long drought, Sammy is encouraged by his players' attitude and determination ahead of the opening test on December 2nd.
We created so many opportunities to win. When I look at the 7 games that were played, we were in contention to win 5 of them. We let it slip away, but credit must go to New Zealand. You know, how they've made home a fortress. But I was quite impressed with the positives that we had coming out of that series. Now, you know, the test match arena, and Jerome just whispered to me something we've not won here since 1995. I'm thinking that's about 30 years, you know, so we have a challenge on our hands. But I was just saying these guys prepared. The intensity at training today is something that we've spoken about, and to see the immediate reaction to the things that we want to see. The practice session was quite good, so I'm quite happy with the way the preparation is going.
And finally, the Rowing Association of Barbados is in dire need of a home for the sport. Speaking on the sidelines of the just concluded Commonwealth Rowing Association Beach Sprints Championships, President Dr. Anthony Yard says they have been forced to remove their equipment from its present location at Browns Beach. Barbados won 4 medals at the championships despite many challenges pertaining to a lack of training opportunities. Dr. Yard says they have until this weekend to remove the containers storing their boats.
We don't know where we're going to take them because we don't have a home. So I'm appealing to the government. I'm appealing to the Barbados government to really give us a space where we can place the containers on the beach, where we can get supplies of water to wash the boats down so that we can train. We also need what we call a safety boat. Before the safety boat, we can't row because the rowers is going to fall into the water, then their lives at risk. So we need a safety boat.
The Prime Minister's Cup Goal of the Week, brought to you by PowerAid, Pause is Power, and by Dasani, Live First, Dasani After.
Weymouth Wales left tongues wagging after hammering Paradise 4-0 in the semi-finals of the PM Cup. And it all started with a sensational one-time strike via Akil Apowit, who earns the Goal of the Week accolade. Wales will make them pay after this mistake from Tyrell Rayside Demondunker, miscued clearance, and Akil Apowit unmarked, one-time left foot, turn off the lights, there's a sniper loose. The boys from Carrington Village have the 1-0 lead on 22 minutes. First half, done and dusted.
Well, the highly anticipated City of Bridgetown Soca Goes Gold charity event returned for its 7th edition on Saturday at Carrier Festa House at Waterford in St. Michael. And Esther Henry was there and she filed this report.
The energy of soca music was in full effect at Soca Goes Gold 7 Battle of the Bands held at Carrier Festa House. The hundreds of soca fans in attendance enjoyed the lively performances from local and the Trinidadian artists. Their thirst for soca music was quenched as hit after hit was poured into their souls. But what they could not get enough of was a big surprise that can easily be declared the highlight of the night. Twin brothers Barry and Bruce Chandler, known for blazing up the Party Monarch stage on East Coast Road in 2006 with the song Flames, did so once again. Phones were raised and lights were flashing as shocked members of the audience captured the moment. It was all about the return of Bruce, who stepped away from the stage for 20 years, during which he battled substance abuse issues. Even after the performance of Flames ended and the duo left the stage, the crowd wanted more. They were cheering for the duo to come back. Bruce and Barry, given to the good pressure, returned and delivered more. Trinidadian Ira George also added more heat to the stage. The crowd was going wild as the Power Soca King sprinkled them with water while singing his hit, Water. After which he headed into the crowd and gave members of the audience some instructions to their delight. And the Iwer, Shadow, Butterfly and Wave also got the audience rocking. Headliner Destro Garcia also got the crowd loose, jumping and waving with several of her hits including Lucy, Carnival and Max It Up. Destro showed she had no difficulties trembling it after 25 years in show business. Square One, in their usual style and fashion, had no difficulties getting the crowd moving with their soca classic old school mix. They treated fans to Togetherness, Mannequin, Ragamuffin. They had independent women in tight pants rolling, whining and going down and sticking. And even though they took to the stage after 3 a.m., Crossfire still managed to get the audience fired up and going. With hits such as Road Jam, Crossfire had fans feeling like walking up in the middle of Carrie Festival House. It was a light, laughable moment as entertainment group Mad took the audience to church with the Mad Revival song. Proceeds from the event will support the Eden Lodge Youth Charitable Trust 2025 Christmas program. And Destro Garcia, who says she always has a good time performing in Barbados, is pleased to be able to use her talent for good things.
I always use my talent to make people have fun. But when you're called to action, to use your talent to assist for a worthy cause, especially in times like Christmas or Easter, when you know that a lot of people are suffering, or, you know, in times of relief or whatever, when you are home having a nice ham and a nice turkey, it is nice to know that you have contributed to a worthy cause.
Several other artists, including Lyrics, Peter Ram, Nikita, Marvey, and Marsville, among others, performed at the successfully executed event. Onesta Henry, CBC News.
Well, that's news for tonight. On behalf of the entire team, thank you so much for tuning in. Good night.